I have a unique perspective because I have a conversation with a lot of men at different stages of life. Some dating, most are somehow jaded by the dating process. And this is the common theme that I hear. The dating today is too much of a pre-application before you actually talk to somebody. It's all of these things that you have to do and all of these things that you have to get over and all of these disqualifiers that are I personally believe if social media did not exist would be a non-issue, but because the person that I'm dating is a reflection of my self-worth.
Welcome back to Before You Do with Verlyn. I'm your host and favorite premarital coach, Verlyn Tarlton. Thank you for joining me today. And I just realized that it was a year ago, last week, that I started on this podcast journey. So it's actually been a year, and I'm really excited about that. In addition, for the first time, I have a man guest. I have been having women and I've had two couples, but this is my first time having a man on my podcast to hear from a male perspective. So I am super excited to introduce to you today. Mr. Gerald Davis is in the studio. Welcome, welcome, welcome.
What up? What up? What up? Man, no pressure. I'm the the voice of every man that's ever existed.
Hey, it is what it is. I'm excited. Like I said, I've had a couple of couples, but
Mhm.
you are the first man to get in here and talk about relationships and what's going on, these gender
O
wars and all that good stuff. So,
Oh, man, I'm sure we're gonna get into it. I'm excited though. Yeah, let's do it.
all right. So, in terms of dating and marriage and all of that, I do a podcast that's basically geared to women, right? Preparing to be married. So, we
Shout
all
out to
have
the women.
Right. We have all expectations, but what's the difference between the perceived expectation and reality?
Berlin, okay, I think that okay, it's a great question. I think that that question is kinda loaded though, and I'll tell you why. Um, because it it kind of feels like that you set yourself up for all these expectations in a thing that you're going to get into, which is marriage. But when you get into the actual marriage, man, it's probably not going to meet any of those expectations, which is kind of true, kind of not true. I think the more important thing for me, anyway, is what is life like with that actual person that you marry? Like my actual wife. My wife's name is Danielle Davis. We've been married for 15 years. Um, if I went into marriage like, okay, as a wife, she's gonna do this and she's gonna do that, and we're gonna do that, we're gonna do that. Life get real hard. But the process of marriage is finding out what is Danielle like? How is it to work with Danielle? What does Danielle think is funny? What are Danielle's expectations? So to answer your question, I think the idea of this general, when I get into this arrangement called marriage, these are going to be the realities. It's more so, what is it like living with the person that you decided to marry and growing that way together? So, um, that's what I really think, but your listeners probably don't want that answer. So, what the realities are, it's growing together, and the altar isn't the altar isn't the end of the story. The altar is the beginning of the journey. And I don't know, maybe they were in purity culture, maybe they were in, city girl culture or whatever it was, but they're like, "Okay, this portion of my life is now over, and now, I've celebrated." And like that the story starts on day 1 as you're at the altar, and now it's like, "Okay, I gotta learn this person for real." And that's what the realities are. The realities are I have said I do, and I have committed to spend a lifetime to learning my person.
Yeah, I think that, and maybe this is just a woman's perspective. Most of the time we go in with all focus on that particular day. Like everything is on that day, the dress, the hair, the music, the guest. And we don't really sit and think about what's really going on beyond that day because, like
Yeah,
you said, you're building a life.
yeah, the day is beautiful. I have the day, celebrate the day, go into debt on the day if you want to, whatever, all of that stuff is fine. That day comes and goes. The longer part is my person. I'm saying that I want to walk with that person forever. And once the magic, because man, the presents get stale. The guests that came, they'll stop talking to you. Everybody will start moving on with their life. And once you're a year in, 2 years in, and you start going into all that stuff, which we'll get into, um, that's the meat of the marriage, of the successful marriage anyway. And I think that we're doing ourselves a disservice as a culture by putting all the emphasis on the day.
Agreed. When I think about expectations and reality, and I've been married going on 19 years in December, and
Congratulations,
thank
congratulations.
you, thank you. And we both were married previously, and so this was us coming together, starting totally brand new with two different experiences, and the expectation was, "Okay, I learned my lessons the first time, so this is gonna be good," You choose better and you do better, and the reality is it is still work or it's still effort. You think you've gotten this part down and you know this much, you're not gonna do this again, or you're not gonna accept this again, and now you find out it's like starting all over.
I think you learned general lessons from previous relationships as well. You should, but you're still starting fresh with a brand new person. You're starting fresh with a brand new person. So, you know, reality is you're gonna have to learn your person, and that's a journey.
Exactly. Okay, so for women in this era, right? And they're dating and wanting to be married, like that's the end goal. How should women be dating?
Oh, women should be dating to find their person. I'm gonna beat this horse, Verlyn, until you hit stop record. Women should date to find their person because I think that when you're dating, when you're dating men, then there's generalities and then there's check boxes that they have to meet because a man should do this for me. A man should spend $2,000 for my dress, nails, uber black, hair done, all of that good stuff. A man should take me on vacation. A man should pay my rent. Men should do this because that's what I see, and that's what all of that stuff. But and then when you actually do find that person that you think is worthy of pursuing a further relationship with, and you're putting these men expectations on that man, and that man may not necessarily say like, "Hey, that's really not what I'm here for," and you start saying this man doesn't meet the qualifications of the men that I typically date, then you can potentially disqualify the perfect man for you for the idea of this stereotypical thing that men should do. That in social media land and in internet land, it's probably not even really happening to the people that are posting it.
Mm, okay.
You know what I mean? Like in real life, in real situations in Berlin, I mean, you tell me in real situations, like uh, us men, I would like to think that I'm a quality man. Equality, that's subjective, but we're not really trying to have this transactional relationship with women where I give you a lot of money and I expect sex and submission in return. Not really. We're out here trying to build a life with somebody we love, and hopefully they love us as much as we love them.
I This is all new to me. All these things I'm hearing about what you need to do and how you need to do it and the amount of money. That's not what I saw coming up, and that's not what I adapted. I was not making demands. It was just like, okay, you're just kind of initially kind of just hanging out. You meet someone and you say, "Oh, okay, yeah, we can do this again." And then it's just a progression. I always knew as a young person I wanted to get married. And that's probably just a woman thing. Most women have it in their mind. They want to grow up, get married, etc. And so I felt that way. I never had any demands. I never felt like someone had to pay a certain amount of money, definitely not get hair and nails. Like, that is all so new, and it must be a generation thing because, first of all, I'm a grandmother. I have
Mm,
grown children in addition to my teenagers. I have 4 grandchildren, and so in the era that I was in, that was not it was unheard of. You just It was kinda like, okay, you're dating and you're not playing games, but you're definitely not looking at a person saying, "This is a criteria you have to meet financially." It was a criteria in terms of character and what it is that you're looking to do with your life. And like you said, how we can build together, those types of things. And so this whole high value man, 6 figures, 6 feet, and all that, that was unheard of 20, 30 years ago, at least in my world. And so that's why I was asking about reality. Like, how can that even be a reality?
yeah, and you know what? I do think that there is nuance to that though, because classism is a real thing in the sense of, so say if you're said woman and you make $450,000 and I make 40, then that is a challenge that you guys either want to take or decide not to take. But that is a legitimate thing that you guys need to address and will constantly be there. I do think that there is that. Um, Past that though, most of the people statistically think it's the last time I read it was like 65% of most men in America are making $60,000 or less. It's more men who are making less than six figures than there are. So um for the woman who are like, 6 feet, six figures, you're disqualifying 65% of the male population. And once you start going into this, low sixes, mid sixes, higher than that, then we're having a different conversation because most men in that spot, and I have a podcast too, Lunch with the Cool Kids, where I'm not the cool kid, you are. We have these conversations all the time. Most men in their spot are not looking for, very frankly, the type of woman that they're presenting themselves as. So, that's a conversation. But um Berlin, I'm with you. I was and it sounds strange to say in 2025, but I was a man looking to be married. And like not so like married in the way that traditional women look to be married, like, po- I I was looking to be married because I wanted to have a family and I wanted somebody to love me and I didn't want to be the old guy in the club. You know what I mean? Like, your 20s go by fast and you'll look up and then get 30 and then 30s go by even faster than 20 and then you'll look up and like, oh man, I'm 40 years old still going on dates in the club. I did not want that to be my story. So I kind of made it intention. I didn't want to. I mean, I just wasn't going to get married off to the first person who said hey to me, but I was going to be very aware that if I was in a relationship, I wasn't going to get in a relationship just to break up.
Hmm.
I wanted to see how far that relationship would go, see would we love each other, see could we grow together, see would we be willing to grow together. Um, and yeah, and I got married at 27. And really, in today, if you listen to people today, that's a terrible age to get to get married. You're too young, you don't know yourself, you're not established, all of that stuff. But I'm gonna say this, and honest to God, I mean this with all my heart. I would rather get married younger and build with my person forever than build a whole life solo and invite somebody in. I don't think that I don't think the latter is as fun as and exciting as as building together young. So, but yeah, no, I was very much so. If I find that person, I'm gonna marry her.
That's good stuff. And I agree. Building together, because in addition to building a life, you're building that trust. When you have you've arrived or you have established yourself, then you have to always wonder, is this person with me for the money? Are they with me for the look of it just because it'll make them look good? But are they actually, first of all, are they going to put in the work?
Yeah,
Are they going to put in the work to build? That's huge, which is why it goes back for me to character. Like, do you have some of the main ingredients? Do you have integrity? Are you interested in honesty? And all of these things that make a person and build a genuine relationship versus, well, what do you bring to the table? And I get that.
yeah. But you know what? I think you said something that's interesting. Let me think about that. You said something, it kind of triggered me, in a good way. You said build somebody to build that trust with. I think that when you get married younger and you're building a thing together, then that trust is so solidified as long as you're not cheating, beating, whatever the case.
Mhm.
When you get older and I'm already established and I'm bringing somebody, especially if I'm doing well, me as a man, if I'm doing well in my life, um, and my kingdom is built, and I bring you in, which by today's standards, that's what most women want. If I bring you into my built kingdom, we're not building trust together. You're spending your time trying to earn my trust. Because I by default think that you want me because I'm a finished product. And that's the honest to truth. That's the
Mhm.
honest to God's truth. That's what was attracted to me. I had all my stuff together and you said, "Hey, you will do." And you brought me and not you brought me into your world, but you said that I was suitable. But in my mind, I'm thinking like, dude, I got all of this stuff. I've built my life. My credit's good. My house is mine. My car is mine. My business is mine. My bank account is mine. And you want to come into my world. I'll marry you, but you still have to earn my trust.
Mhm.
As opposed to when I'm 20 something and I'm still at that desk job and I'm trying to chase my dream and I was chasing my dream and you paid the bills for 6 months and you brought all of that good stuff while I was doing this and then I finally popped. Like now me as a person who's popped, like now I feel like I owe you. I I I owe you and I'm going to build my life to not only make sure our family's good, but to repay you and thank you for holding me down when I was coming up. I think that that's the difference. But once again, I think culture says today that women prefer a finished product,
Mhm.
and when you get a finished product, you just got to know what comes with it.
Mhm. Yeah, I had a guest a while back and we were talking about prenups.
Mm.
And we had an interesting conversation.
What was the idea with the prenup?
She was saying, "Get one." She was an attorney in Maryland, and so she was basically saying not everyone needs one, but in most cases, getting a prenup is not just about, "I keep mine, you keep yours," but it's also in the event other things happen to say, "I'll be responsible for this. In case of the demise of the marriage, you can do this." It's just an organized way of ending things versus fighting at the end, so she was all for it.
Okay, I'll give a quick thought about prenup. And once again, like if I think it's at what stage of life because I'm I got married young, she got married young, relatively young, so we basically had nothing. So whatever we have now is what we built.
Mhm.
Um, but yeah, I mean, if for whatever reason me and my wife didn't work out now and I marry somebody else, yeah, probably,
Mhm.
probably.
Yeah, and that's what she was saying, not everyone should get one. She definitely agreed with that. So, Mr. Gerald Davis, tell us about yourself.
Oh man, Lord. I mean, at the end of the day, I'm just a guy who's a husband and a dad and loves God and loves black people. That's generally the sum of it. I'm fortunate enough to own and run a social media content production company. It's called Dream to Dream Media, where we go out and shoot Netflix style podcasts, and it's great. So that's cool. I'm in Atlanta. I also have a podcast, Lunch with the Cool Kids, where I'm not the cool kid. You are, where we have conversations that move the culture and community forward, and it's doing well so far. Could be doing better, could be doing worse, but I think that's generally my lot in life. I could be doing better, I could be doing worse. Um, yeah, I mean, and I that's basically it about me. I help people with their podcast. I help people with their podcast in various different ways. So yeah, I mean, that's me. I'm a dad. I think I'm a dad. And I didn't know how important that would be until not even when they were born. Because when they were born, it was like, "Okay, I get the responsibility of being a dad." But, like, once they start walking and talking and having personalities and start, all of that stuff, I was like, "Man, this is probably the coolest thing in the world that, like, I get to make human beings." And what me and my wife's influence on them directly affects who they are in the world. So, those are the things that I take seriously.
All right, okay. So back to the dating. Um, you've been married, you said 15 years, right?
15
So
years.
you haven't dated in a while. However, I'm sure you hear a lot, just like I do. I have not dated in over 20 years, but I hear a lot. And most of it is not so good, but what challenges have you heard that men face? And I'm asking this because okay, so my husband, he's in the 60s range. So he knows men that are in the 50s and they are saying, I can't find women. I can't find a good woman. And they're wanting to marry. Some of them have never been married. A couple of them are divorced and want to remarry. And they are saying that they can't find women. And I'm looking like, where are you? It is so many women out here I know. So what
Yeah.
challenges are you hearing that men are faced with dating?
Yeah, and I have a unique perspective because my podcast, Lunch with the Cool Kids, uh, check the link in the show notes. I'm sure they'll be there. Yeah, listen, let me say this real quick. Y'all, we're trying to get to 10,000 by the end of the year, and we're trying to crack 100,000. So, man, if you're watching this, go ahead and subscribe. I appreciate it. Um, Shameless plug. I have a unique perspective because I have a conversation with a lot of men at different stages of life. Some dating, some dating, most are somehow jaded by the dating process. And this is the common theme that I hear. The dating today is too much of a pre-application before you actually talk to somebody. It's all of these things that you have to do and all of these things that you have to get over and all of these disqualifiers that are if if I personally believe if social media did not exist would be a non-issue. But because the person that I'm dating is a reflection of my self-worth,
Hmm.
that if they're not meeting these standards, then they're not worthy of me. And that, man, that's a terrible way to go through life because um if if you think that somebody has to meet up to the best version of yourself, you're not going to find anybody. You're not going to find any, and I think that that's what's happening. Everybody is saying that I need a 10 out of 10 on all fronts, and when somebody is honestly a 8 out of 10, then "Oh, well, you need to get this together. You need to get that together. I'm the queen. I'm the prize. I'm And the funny part is that that works when and I'm not a red pill guy, but there are some things that like, it's got a point. That works when, and ladies forgive me, when you're in your early 20s, late 20s, early 30s. But when gravity starts to kick in and, all of that stuff, and when there is a younger version of you that has less morals and less values and who are willing to do more, less things. And while you need a Birkin bag to even be considered, she'll take a pair of Jordans. You know what I mean? It's just like, okay, well, I'll just go with her. That's fine because I know that ultimately you just want to say that you got this six-figure high value man or whatever the case. I know that that's what you want. So I'm just gonna go to the cheaper version. And that's a lot of things of what's happening. And then so now you have like, these 35-year-old, 40, 45-year-old, 50-year-old women who are saying, like, where are all the good men at? The good men was back there that you said that were no good. And hey, don't I'm gonna say this, ladies. I'm gonna say this. Don't come to my show to crucify me. Just crucify me on Berlin show. Um, as women get older, your options get less. As men get older, our options get more. We just get more distinguished, and then we kind of get our stuff together, and we get money, and we get cars, we get our credit together. And the version that you wanted us to be at 21, we're now that at 35, 40. And the version that we wanted you to be, you know, y- you're younger. We're going this way. So honestly, that's why I personally believe if we're both going this way, if we meet somewhere in the middle, then, hey. So I think that's where that's a lot of things that's happening right now is that the when women are past their physical prime, they're still wanting the expectations as if they're 22. And
Okay,
men are like, yeah, nah.
so for men who are in their 50s and they're saying they cannot find good women in terms of marriage, what's that about?
Well, men who are in their 50s and they're 45 in their 50s and things like that. I think that that's well. Okay, let me. This is my disqualifier. I don't think that we should talk further without saying that you don't need to find women. You need to find a woman. You just need to find
Mhm.
your woman. I don't care what's happening out there. My woman is great. You know what I mean? So if you find your woman, you'll be fine. But if we're just talking, that's my disqualifier. But if we're talking about just in generalities, um, I think that social media and
Mhm.
yeah, I keep going back to that, but it really is a driver of all of these terrible, terrible misconceptions that of what a relationship should be. Women are most. No, no, no. I was gonna say most women who are in that 35, 40, 45, 50. Let's just say 40 to 50. In that 40 to 50 range. I was gonna say a lot of them have been married before, but that used to be true. That's not really true anymore. As we men, as we start getting to our 40s and our 50s and stuff like that, and we have the mindset of, okay, I do want to get married, I do want to have a family, all of that stuff. We don't wanna spend 10 years dating and trying to figure this stuff out. And I think women of the same age, they're still trying to go through the whole process as if, like, we're 18 and 19 and 20 and stuff like that. Like, dude, if I'm 40 right now and it takes us 7 years to figure this thing out, like, we're not even gonna get started in life till I'm 47. Hey, God bless you. I ain't got that type of time. So if you're serious about me and I'm serious about you, let's just move forward and then see. I think that I think there's a lot of conversation where the men who do want to get married are, but but once again, we're letting social media and the pictures and the know your protect my peace at all costs and all of these things that makes us internally selfish.
Mhm.
Um, if it's doing that, it's hard to bring a selfish person into a selfless relationship, and that's where the clash is.
Yeah, I think like anything else, that social media is definitely a double-edged sword. I see the good in it as far as promoting and things like that, but I'm glad it wasn't so prominent 20 years ago when I was out and wanting to be married and I'm thankful I didn't get caught up into these are all the prerequisites and if this person doesn't meet and do this. I mean, I did have some thoughts, I'm 5'8", and so but this was
Golly, you tall, Verlaine.
yeah,
God.
this is my thing. I wanted somebody who was at least 6 feet, but
Mm,
that wasn't an influence. That was my own thinking. So when I met my husband before, the first one of the first things when he wanted to go out, I was like, "How tall are you?" I knew he was tall, but he was sitting at a desk. He was a teacher.
mm.
And he was like 6'2". I was like, "Okay." Like, that was huge for me. I did not want to date someone that was shorter than I was, but that was not social media. That was my own personal thing, and so
And preferences are fine. I think
right.
preferences are fine. You should
Mhm.
have preferences, and I also think conversations like these, they vilify preferences too,
Mm.
which isn't that's not fair either. You can have preferences, no problem, but when preferences morph into absolutes for everybody, then that's where the issue comes in. Um, because if I had to date today, man, I think that I would have to spend an egregious amount of money to get some lady's attention when maybe the actual person that I like and they like me, maybe they don't even value money like that. You know what I mean?
Mm.
And and I could, because I think that this is what a man's supposed to do, start throwing all these things at this at this woman, at this person, to because this is the checklist. It could potentially repel her because I'm doing these things for women, but not necessarily my woman. And also the same thing, like that's the beauty and that's the importance. And this is a thing that I'm gonna teach my daughters is to talk and have conversations with the man that you're interested in and find out what they value, what they think is important, what they don't think is important, all of that stuff, because you could be doing something because culture is saying that you should, but actually repelling your person away because that person doesn't value the things that culture says that you should.
Exactly. Going back to what we were saying, those core values, that is the thing that matters. Again, do you have integrity? Do you
Yeah.
believe in telling the truth? And I know lots of men say, well, women don't want to know the truth, but there are some of us that want to know and want to hear it. We want to hear it, we want to speak it. And so these are like you said, I 100% agree. My youngest daughter is 18 and we're talking all the time about expectations, what's reality. And I just think to myself, oh my gosh, my oldest daughter is going on 40 in January and she's already married. And it was such a relief. And then
Mm.
this daughter came. I'm like, oh my gosh, I got to go through this again, having the talks, going through the dating process. I mean, it's like, oh, and things were really different back then versus now. Like you said, I think this whole social media thing, I don't know. It's
But you know
just,
what? I really, I think that that's also a charge on me as a parent to raise a person who can go into the world and not be completely affected by what culture says, because they spent, that 18, 19, 20 years old, and you know things happen. I completely agree and understand, but like if we spend these times as parents right now laying that foundation
Mhm.
that, hopefully when they get out in the world, they'll be like, "Oh, okay, well, mom and dad, said that find your person and not find people."
Mhm.
And it'll help them out in the real world. I take pride in preparing my children for, the real world and not the world as us parents like to prepare them for this big ambiguous thing that the world that we and I know this isn't a parenting thing, but a lot of times I think that we're a step behind with our kids because we're preparing them for a world that they won't enter. What I mean by that is that we're preparing them for the world that we grew up in.
Mm.
Like, yeah, back in my day, this no, 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 no. But also back in my day, I had a house, I had a landline. You know what I
Mm.
mean? I had basic cable and I had, 5 channels and stuff like that. And I was in high school when the internet came out. Just stuff like that.
Mhm.
That's not their world. It always shocks me that my kids will never know a world without an iPad. You know, and like by the time that they get out into the world and they're making all their own decisions and paying bills and stuff like that, like we're saying that oh my god, AI is coming. Like this is going to be a normal part of their world. The world that we're saying that this is what you have to enter. It's not actually the world that they're going to be contributing to. So I can't prepare you for the tech and the culture and the sayings of the world, but what I can prepare you for is the foundation and the values. Like no matter what, you be a
Mhm.
good person, treat people right, honor your word,
Mhm.
take things seriously, don't be lazy, don't stuff like that. So it's my little parenting tangent. So I'm saying that to say that I think that if we teach our kids the fundamentals the right way, I think they'll be okay no matter what culture says.
Okay. Do you have daughters or a daughter?
All 3 daughters.
Oh, goody, goody. So,
All 3.
how in the world, speaking of the world that they will be going into, this is maybe on the spot, but how are you going to prepare them to date to find their person or, depending on what you believe, to be found by their person as a father?
Yeah, so I'm very traditional in a lot of ways, and I'm very, liberal and idealistic in a lot of different ways. Um I still believe in true love, and, I do believe that women don't necessarily need to chase men. Um, I do believe that if a man likes you, let him pursue. I do believe that 100%. Um, but I do believe I tell you what I don't believe. I don't believe that women are the prize at the expense of the man. Um, and I also believe that if I'm not hey, ladies, I'm not talking about you. I'm just talking about my 3 girls. If my 3 girls believe that, they're setting themselves up for trouble.
Mm.
Um, because when you're always the prize and you never allow yourself to be won, then you'll be the prize forever. You'll be a 60-year-old prize. You'll be a 75-year-old prize that you have to find that a man worthy enough to win you. And then you'll be on your deathbed like, oh man, I guess nobody won the prize. It's so when you find that person generally, genuinely, truly, I believe that attraction is easy. I believe that relationships are easy. I believe the process, everything after that, that's difficult. But I believe that, hey girl, I like you. Do you like me? Yeah, I think I do. Okay. Let's go do something and see if we like each other more. You go do something and, oh, we do like each other. Well, let's keep doing this and then see what happens. That's basically the process. But we put there's so many barriers to get to the, hey, I like you, you like me, that so many people are not getting there. And then and it's a society of frustrated, there's no good women out there. There's no good men out there. I mean, there are, but you're disqualifying them. Hey, I like you. Do you like me? Yes or no? And if it's yes, let's go do something else. It doesn't necessarily need to be qualified by how much money you spend. It doesn't need to be extravagant. It it doesn't need to be on social media. Let's go do something and figure out, do we like each other more? And if not, that's okay. Hey, we tried it and it doesn't work. And then let me go back and live my life and I see somebody else. Ooh, girl, guess what? I like you. Do you like me? Yeah, I think I do. Let's go do something. And the process continues until you say, hey, I like you enough to marry you. Would you like to marry me? Yeah, I think I would. Okay, let's have a ceremony and let's start a life. That's the easy part. And as you know, you've been married 19 years. Like that's the stuff. That's the stuff that we need to be having conversations about because it gets a little bit more tricky right there. But like, man, if you're and if if you're having trouble saying, "Hey, girl, I like you. Do you like me?" Then let's unpack that and figure out what's the issue because you're wasting a lot of time.
Now that's some good stuff. "Hey, girl, I like you. Do you like me?" That's as real as it gets.
That's it. That's it. That's brilliant. That's the process. That's the process. And and maybe the answer to "Do you like me?" Like, maybe that's complicated as the older you get because there are a lot of other things to consider. But if you if I'm not self-aware enough to know that, oh, I like this person and I can't say that easily or not, then that's some things that I need to work on within myself because I don't know how to hear myself anymore.
It reminds me, I don't know if you did this in school, but we would like somebody and we had a note and we would put, "I like you," or something like that. "Do you like me?" Check the box. Yes. Then was a box no, and then was a box at the bottom in the middle that said maybe. And you fold the note up and you ask your friend to pass it to so and so.
Yeah. Yeah. I think one of the biggest detriments in our society and culture is that as we got older, we tried to overcomplicate that process. And we didn't want to be children anymore and say, I like you, do you like me? So we try to find all these fancy words for it. But at the end of the day, it's very primal. I like you or I'm attracted to you.
Mhm.
I Are you attracted to me? No, I'm not attracted to you. Oh, okay. Well, that's that. You know what I mean? So I'll turn my attention to somebody else and keep going until somebody says yes. But that's basically the process. But eh, let me ask you, for the people that you talk to, and for the women, I think I know about the men, but for the women, like, is it easy to identify somebody that they're attracted to?
I believe so. Now, I'm going to tell you this, and since you brought it up, I'm going to go ahead and go with it. I have heard women say they are, let me turn it into a question. How can a woman be approachable to even be asked that? You get what I'm saying?
Yeah. Um, and I'm gonna say this, and you may not. Well, you'll probably you'll probably like the answer, but other women may not like the answer. I want to preface this. My God, I want to preface this by saying that um like, I love women. I'm pro women. I want to raise good women. I'm married to a good woman. I have no problem with women. Having said that, um, if we perceive me as men, if we perceive you as mean, we don't want to talk to you. We just don't. And I think that that's a lot of the things. Is that I think women are putting themselves as strong and put together, and I got to do all of this stuff in the world, and I got to go and be a fight these battles in the boardroom and all of it. Got it. I'm rooting for you. If you mean, I'm not talking to you.
Wow.
Because I just don't want that problem. I just don't want that problem. Um, typically, typically these are the things that will make men happy. Um, love us, yes. Okay, love us, yes. But just respect us, let us have a peaceful environment and laugh at our jokes. If you can do those three things, then you got you got nine out of 10 men for the rest of your life. Um, and honestly, women who are not being approached, they're mean.
So when you okay, so mean in terms of, are you saying there's a look, there's a vibe, like
Look, vibe, conversation. So I think as older we get, we understand that some people just kind of have a resting mean face. We get that, so no problem. But so you get past that, and then you talk to somebody, and then their answers are real short, and it's like you have to earn my conversation. I don't want to earn a conversation. I just don't. Hey, how you doing today? Fine. Hey, you have yourself a great day. And I'm gonna go, you know what I mean? Like, we don't want to deal with all of that. And and some women think that it's a badge of honor that if they can get past my outer shell and get to the crux of my heart, then they can earn my hey, you keep all of that. I'll go to somebody that's a good time. Because we're having battles too. We're fighting this thing in the world, and we don't want to have to fight for somebody to love us and to enjoy us. So yeah, if somebody's mean and they are uh, past that magical threshold of 37, say okay,
okay.
okay.
Okay. I
And that
want to keep
yeah,
it.
hey, and I'm sorry, but that's just the truth. I think
Mhm.
like that's what I would tell um if my best friend who is a female, if I had one, and she was X age, and she's like, "Okay, I'm ready to settle down. What's the first thing I need to do? Be nice. If you're nice, you'll be surprised how the world opens up."
And have a look of being approachable, friendly,
Yeah,
not a
friendly.
mean look.
You don't
Mhm.
and you don't have to be and I'm gonna move on from this. That's fine, but you don't have to be gullible. I'm not saying
Right.
be gullible.
Right.
Saying be nice. Just be approachable. And if you
Mhm.
don't want to be approached, don't be surprised when people aren't approaching you.
When you think about it, that's pretty simple. Just
All of it.
be
Brilliant.
approachable, look nice, don't be mean. Do you like me? Yes or no?
And most people that have successful relationships, um, they will say a version of the same thing because those who are in successful relationships for a long time, um, are kind of looking at all of these gender war conversations and laughing and like, yeah, none of that stuff matters. It really doesn't.
Being that I was in my almost 40 or whatever I was, late 30s, and back, out in the world and dating and all of that, and I had children. So in my mind, it's like, okay, that's a strike. That's my opinion. I'm not saying for ladies it is, but that's how I was thinking. So one of the things I wanted was to be with someone who had children because I felt they would understand how it is to come into a marriage and already have children and kind of work through that. And so I
Mm.
was fortunate that we both had children. And also, it showed me the level of responsibility that my husband had. I was able to just gauge a lot of things on his interaction with his children. And I'm saying that to say this, that again, there was no social media. I just had personal preferences, like we talked about, which everybody should have preferences. The things that will
Yep.
make your life flow with this person a little easier. And I thought that I would not be approachable being divorced, having children. And so I was surprised at how approachable, and I can't really think back. Now that you're saying, there's a look approachable, mean, or whatever, I remember just being who I was. Someone spoke, I spoke. I didn't have a thought that, oh my gosh, he spoke to me. He must like me. Just because someone said hello or hey, I like that dress or whatever. It was just like, hey,
Mhm.
how you doing? And that's something to really think about because I have heard that in terms of being approachable or not being seen or whatever.
Can I share something with you? Those insecurities and as what we call insecurities of, you being divorced and you being children, all of that good stuff. All of that stuff is internal. Nobody knows that before they actually talk to you.
Mhm. Agreed.
Somebody sees you, like, hey, and like whatever comes after that, hey, is is projection. You know what I mean? It's
Mhm.
like, oh, well, you don't need to. Hey, I just said, hey.
Right. I didn't have a sign
You didn't
saying,
have a
"I'm
time.
divorced," and good point. Touche.
Yeah,
Okay,
just be
so
nice. Just be nice.
just be nice. Wow. Because, actually, now that I think about it, I was actually told quite a few times that I did look mean. I just
Yeah,
it just occurred to me, and I wasn't trying to. I think sometimes, and this is not a justification, but I know even now, I'm already married now, so it doesn't even matter per se. But, I have my to do list. I've never been a huge shopper. When I was a teenager, yeah, go to the mall, all of that stuff. But as a grown woman, it's like, give me a list. I'm going to the grocery store. If it's five things on that list, I'm getting those five things and I'm getting out. And so I do, now that I kind of think back, um, I probably was kinda moving with a maybe a serious look. I don't know if serious and mean maybe kinda look the same,
yeah,
you
they're
know?
cousins. Yeah,
Yeah, but I've been told that sometimes I can be a little intense, and I'm very focused. Like, if
yeah.
I'm thinking I'm going here to do this task, I'm gonna do that, and so I'm not even sure how I got around that.
But you know what? I think that, and if we unpacked it a little bit, I would imagine that maybe you probably didn't get around it. Maybe your current husband, maybe he just kind of pushed through it because because we understand. I mean, and once again, I know I'm stepping into it. M- Most most black women don't have a naturally friendly face by default.
This is true.
Um, and most of us, like guys, we understand. Most guys understand that. So it's not so much of the how you look when we're not talking to you. It's what you say after we talk to you. That's the thing.
Okay.
Um, my wife is, I think that she's a very attractive woman. When we met, when we met in college, and I thought that she was pretty then. When I talked to her, she wasn't like all bubbling and giggling and stuff like that. You know what I mean. But it was like the first thing I said to her, I was talking to her friend, and then she's like, "Oh, this is my friend Danielle," and like I shook her hand, and the first thing that I said was, once again, we've been married 15 years. We've been together 19 years, so it works. So I shook her hand and I said, "My, you have rough hands."
Mm, mm, mm.
and she and she just kind of looked and she was like, "What?" And then when you kind of continue the conversation, and then I think it kind of I wasn't trying to hit on her. I was just I'm funny. I like to think that I'm funny, and it just kind of it shocked her a little bit. But you know what I mean? It Because we liked each other, it worked out. So I said that to say that Like, there's no great playbook that, "Oh, if you do this, and then she says that, then they'll do this, and then all of this stuff will work out." Just be a human with another human and see where things go. It's simple.
Hmm. All right. So we talked about you having daughters and what you would tell women. Okay. What are three things you suggest that women should understand between the dating and preparing for marriage?
You're not married until you're married. Um, I'll say them, and then we can go back if you want to. You're not married until you're married, so don't stop living your life while you guys are building something together. Um, because theoretically, you'll you'll be married statistically, let's just say you'll be married twice in America. You'll be married twice, but ideally you'll be married one time.
Mm.
Um, you'll have a whole lot less marriages than you will have boyfriends. So all of those ones that you don't marry, you'll break up with at some point. That's just kind of how it goes. So if you are stopping your life every time you're in a relationship and it doesn't work out, you've spilled a lot of that time. So don't stop living your life while you're in a relationship. The second thing is, if you really love him and y'all do want to build a life together, don't be a pest. And I can hear the comments going crazy. I understand. From a man, uh, I can fight the world all day long. I do not want to fight with my woman. I don't. We can get in arguments and we can work through them, but if your way of communicating displeasure is, "Why did you say that? Why you say that? Why you say that? Why you say that?" It's not gonna work. Find a better way. Find a better way. Like, if man, if you can just take one thing, if you love your man and you wanna keep them, like, that's the one thing that you can take away from this episode. Find another way to communicate, because that's not gonna last long. Um, Third thing is, keep the keep the love in front. Keep the love in front of everything, because as time goes on, so many things in life will change, especially when you have kids. As you get older, your looks will start to fade. You'll go up in weight. You'll go down in weight. You'll be in a career, and that career won't work out, and you'll start another career, and you'll do all of these things. You'll be depressed. A parent is going to pass. All of these major things are going to happen. Um, and if you forget that in the middle of all of this, I'm a guy who loves this girl and we're walking every day together. If you forget that, then the relationship gets way harder. So that would be my three things.
That piece about continuing to live your life, that is huge because I have fallen into that trap. Set my
Yeah.
whole life on hold and thinking things are going this way. But that's true. You're not married until you're married.
Yep. Yep.
Hope folks are taking notes because you will find yourself so behind in your dreams, things you want to accomplish because, like you say, you just stop and you just start down another path that doesn't even lead to where you ultimately want to go. And I don't like to say wasted time because you learn lessons,
Sure.
but you
Sure.
still kind of waste the time while you're learning the lesson, depending on what your goals are.
Yeah. Yeah. And if he loves you, he'll marry you.
Mm, mm.
If he loves you, he'll marry you. If he wants to marry you, he will marry you. If he doesn't, he won't. And you get to decide how long you you're in the relationship until you say enough is enough.
Hmm. I wonder is that do you think there's actually a time like for your daughters, would you tell them, if the guy if it's a year, 2, 3 years in and there's no discussion of marriage, you just keep it moving? Like how do you navigate that in terms of a time if there is a time?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think there is a time, comma. Uh, if 2 years is passing and they ain't even said nothing, like, okay. I would say as a courtesy, bring it up once. "Hey, where do you think we're going? Oh, you think we'll
Mhm.
ever get married?" "Oh, man, I'm trying to make sure I build my" "Okay, got it." And then, because the person who's trying to get their stuff together, and I do respect this generation who is like, "Okay, I'm trying to build my stuff to make sure that my future family will be secure and stuff like that." I respect that idea and that sentiment if it is genuine.
Mhm.
I do respect that. I think it's immature. Um, I think it's immature because wealth wealth and money, especially with black people, it's such a it's such a sticking point that because we've been deprived of it so long, we think that that's the only thing. And if
Mhm.
we don't think it's the only thing, it's like 97% of the thing. Um, so we'll put our whole lives on hold, our whole real life, because in my mind, real life is, family and memories and stuff like that. We'll put that stuff on hold to try to build this illusion of security, and we'll look up and we're 45-year-old still trying to build this illusion of security, and by the time that we're secure, we don't even got the energy to enjoy it.
Mm.
And let me say this real quickly, while I'm on my tangent. Um, what really is secure? The things that we're saying is secure, as you go through life, you kind of figure out everything is kind of fragile. Um, the most immediate thing is that, man, what 5, 10 years ago, the dream job was, man, let me get in the tech industry. If
Mm.
I'm in the tech industry, that's gonna be my easy 6 figures and so on and so forth. And AI is wiping away 95% of those jobs. And so many people who had all of that money, they're now back to square one.
Mm.
Um, and 5, 10 years, I said all that to say that 5, 10 years ago, that looked like the most secure thing.
Yep.
And now it's not secure anymore. Security is an illusion. Live your life and adjust when things happen. But if you find somebody that you love, man, just build that life together. Um, so that's my tangent, man. You spend a lot of time trying to prepare for a thing, and I think that you waste more time. I would, man, look, just build it together. And if we got, hey, if we gotta eat, if we gotta eat ramen noodles for a year straight, I would rather eat ramen noodles for a year with the woman that I love
Yes.
than eat filet mignon for 15 preparing.
That is a whole word. We can end on that note. I 100% agree. In my opinion, it's nothing more important than relationships. Like, what is life without relationships? Whether it is, marriage and friends, like, we need each other. We are communal people, and
Yep.
that is where you thrive. So I totally get that. It's better to struggle together than to just be all successful and doing
Then
everything you
flourish
want
alone.
alone. Yeah, yeah.
Yep.
I mean, it's so much peace when you have your person that even in the struggle, it's not as much of a struggle as it would be without them. You get what I'm saying?
Yep.
When you have that person that you can, like you say, you can fight, fuss, whatever, outside at the workplace, whatever you're doing. But when you come home to your person and there's peace, and she can say that thing that makes your bad day disappear. Or he can say that thing that makes your tears dry up. That is true wealth.
Yes.
That I had done a hashtag, and I think I said marriage is wealth, something like that. We have, like you said, been conditioned by looking at social media and all of that to think certain things that are, like you said, not even secure, but it gives the illusion of I got it, we're doing it. And then at the end of the day, what are these people really doing
Yeah.
when you're not in front of that camera? And that's what counts.
And don't get me wrong, and let me say this too, get your money. Hey,
Mhm.
get your money. No problem with that. But if in the pursuit of getting your money, you run into that person that's like, okay, this could be my person forever, then don't discard that person in the pursuit of that money.
Mhm.
Get 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 your money, yes, but get your person.
Mhm.
Because if they're a valuable person, I got bad news for you. They won't be available for long.
Mhm. And that person ultimately will help you build. That's
Yeah.
what it's about. It's about building together. My husband and I both started after divorce, and so everything that my husband had that he didn't have anymore, we rebuilt that. You know, his first house, he had, I think, 3 acres. We bought our first home, our home, right? We had 11 acres. Like, I can go down the list of everything where he started over, where he didn't have it. When we got together and we began to build, he has doubled in areas, whether it's
Mm.
house, acreage, vacation homes, all of those things, we built totally from scratch, but we built them together and we were kinda old. We weren't in
But
our 20s.
Bro, let me say this too. The truth is, and I don't know who needs to hear this. I don't even know if you'll even listen to me when I'm saying it. So, whatever. I'm just gonna say it. Just if you don't believe me, just forget I ever existed. Most people statistically won't be wealthy. Like most people won't make $500,000 a year
Mhm,
statistically. You know what I mean? Most people won't make $300,000 a year. Um, a lot of people will make 100,000, but like not a whole lot statistically. And God, let's not even get into the millions.
mhm,
Statistically, most people are gonna be the average middle class people.
mhm,
And I'm saying that to say that if you spend your life trying to chase this wealth and build this kingdom and stuff like that, then you're probably missing out on the person that's going to bring you the real wealth in pursuit of, chasing this dream that may or may not happen. Hey, if you get that money, that's great, no problem. If you don't get that money, I bet your husband would say that uh if I reach my goals, if I don't reach my goals, because I had the journey with you, my life was fulfilled. Like, man, that's the goal. To me,
mhm.
that's the goal. So, like, I mean, I'm saying all this to say chase your money and all of that good stuff. But like, if your whole life is that chase, then you're missing out on a big part.
Mhm. This has been incredible. So if someone wants to connect with you, how may they do so, Gerald?
Um, just go to Lunch with the Cool Kids in YouTube. Just search Lunch with the Cool Kids, and then you'll find me. Find me on Instagram at Gerald Davis Media. But and don't even talk to me. Just go to Lunch with the Cool Kids and hit subscribe. That's the only thing I care about right now.
And I'm gonna put everything in the description too, as
Cool,
well.
cool, cool,
All of
cool.
your ways that anyone can find and connect with you. Thank you so much. This has been absolutely amazing. Thank you for taking time out to be in the studio with me because I know you are a busy man. Thank you for
Oh man.
being my first man guest
Oh man, a
for
lot of
this new
pressure.
season. For this new season, facing my year
Well,
mark.
Verlyn, thank you so much for having me. I think this is a wonderful platform. And I'm gonna say this real quick for those who are still hanging around. Hey, y'all hit subscribe. Hit subscribe. Hit subscribe and let's grow her show because I think conversations like these are important. And the way that you can support this is by hitting that subscribe button. So do it before you go.
Thank you. Thank you so much. That means the world coming from you. Any parting words?
Um, yeah, life is hard, but love is simple. Do you do you like me? I like you. Yes or no. Go from there. It'll work out.
I think I love it. All right. Thank you again. Thank you for listening and joining in. Please like, share, and subscribe. Until next week, may you experience extraordinary love. Bye for now.